Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy the MDG, written by Saxophoneyeti. It is not the names of ships or of planets that I remember. They're all jumbled up now anyways. One after the other, the differences got smoothed over by the waves of time. No, it's the vivid stuff that stuck with me. The rich orange tongue of flames twisting the air more miles in every direction. The popping and snapping of trees and the thin smoky haze that turned the sky such beautiful colors at sunset. The dead quiet of snow-covered night and the distant sound of crunching footsteps as even nature seemed to stop and listen. The first Xeno I saw. They teach you how to aim your fission pistol at basic, how to be safe and how to fire. They don't teach you what comes after. The scattered bits, and the everything else that gets left behind. The screams. I was a quick learner, though. I don't remember how many drops I had. 40, 50, more. After a dozen, they almost felt routine. The only differences with the last drop was what came afterwards. We went in, we moved out, and then we got the call. No more left to conquer, they said. A complete victory. I didn't feel much like celebrating. So I went home, found out that I wasn't good behind a desk anymore. After so long across those monsters, I couldn't sit down for more than a few minutes before I got that feeling. Any drop marine knows the one, the cold shiver down your neck, when you know one of them is watching you. So I left, and I took a job where I could keep moving, independent investigator, taking on the toughest cases in confederated systems. Late alimony, cheating spouses, petty thefts, the sort of hardened criminals that deserve to spend the rest of their lives behind bars. Yeah, that was a joke, but I was on my feet, and it kept the lights on at home. And I had an excuse to keep my fizz gun on me, safety off. It helped me sleep. I've been working on Corvus 4 for nearly 20 years now, since the end of the war. This ratty office isn't much, but it's mine, and I feel safe here sometimes. Some days, the memories feel like a bad dream, and I can almost forget. But not today. I could smell the smoke from down the hall before I heard the voice. "Jatai, you look feckin' terrible." No matter how much fancy perfume he sprays over the expensive suit, the smell of vaporized aero smoke is never coming out. I looked up at the rough-hewn man in front of me. He looked out of place in the too small jacket, uncomfortable, like a prairie bear surrounded by desert snakes. "Gunny!" I went for a handshake, but ended up putting the old man in for a hug. "What the hell brings you out to Corvus?" He let out a chuckle that took me back to some nameless planet, eating crap from lukewarm protein cans by the fire. "Would you believe me if I said it was a personal visit?" "Not a chance, Kagul." I almost smiled. "Or is it Lieutenant Kagul now?" "Commander, but you and I both know that doesn't mean anything in a place like this, Ty. I need a favor." "Well, I haven't kept track, but I probably still owe you one." "Shoot." Kagul closed the door behind him. I heard the lock click, then a deep sigh as he went for the nearest chair and sat down. It was a few seconds before he spoke again. 4 weeks ago, we lost contact with a research installation on the outskirts of the Black Zone. A classified research installation. Priority 4 classified. I grabbed for the other chair and took place across from Kagan. Priority 4? What the hell were they working on over there? I'll get to that in a minute. 3 days later, a supply depot, 6 parsecs in, went dark. 4 days after that, a forward command center at Nerif 3's forest moon stopped responding. We thought that it might have been some kind of invasion, so we sent third group over to investigate, but, The pause felt heavy with all the things that Kagan wanted to say. There was nothing left but burned buildings. It just seemed wrong. Where was the rear vanguard? Why conquer these worlds and then abandon them immediately? And most importantly, who in the hell was doing this and why? I had a feeling I had something to do with the research installation. Gone was the first base. I felt my voice get tense. I hadn't even realized that I was holding my breath. It was a genetics lab. They had samples of the Xenos from the war. Why would anyone want 25-year-old dead tissue samples? I interrupted. Live! They were live specimens. My stomach dropped. Live specimens, Kagan. They were supposed to be dead. All of them dead. He looked down at the floor for a moment, then made eye contact. We had him in stasis. It had worked fine for years. No incidents, and we were starting to make real progress, Ty. You remember what fighting them was like. We pumped them full of fizz rounds, and they just kept coming. They could go for days. No rest, no food, no water. You take off an arm, they keep coming. You take off a leg, they keep coming. What happens next time we face another enemy like them, Jitai? We need to be ready. We need to understand. They said the enemy was fully eradicated, an unforgivable sentence for an unconscionable threat. The great shame. We killed every last fecking Xeno on their homeworld, Kagan. And for what? How many more do we have frozen in black sites like goddamn time bombs, ready to take on the entire Confederation? I was standing up, barely holding it together. That's classified, he said, avoiding my sight. Then what happens when this lunatic gets to the population center? There must be 20 inhabited planets in the Kronos sector. Haralis, Nekap, Daruna, Amdebsmila, Umdezi is gone. The planet went dark 2 days ago. Oh, by the gods. I stepped back and looked out the window. Does anyone know? No! We told the CFN it was a stellar incident. Temporary blackout. It'll be 3, maybe 4 days before people have a reason to think otherwise. Niani was dirty. In the distance, the sun was setting down below the horizon for the evening. How many people lived on Umdesi? 40, 50 million lived, I corrected myself. Past tense. Long-range censorships in the third group detected a planet flash, so it was quick. Means he'd been using the installation's black zone skimmer to jump from planet to planet, and as far as we can tell, he's not looking for anything in particular. He's just heading up the arm, I finished, towards all the densest population centers in confit space. And with the black zone skimmer, we won't be able to see him on planetary sensors until it's too late. I heard a deep metallic thunk on the desk behind me. Kagan had placed his comm on the surface. An incandescent blue light flickered to life on the top worn metal disc, spilling forth countless beads of light into the room. A handful were highlighted in red, and a dotted line connecting them traced its way across the map. From his previous targets, we figured his next attack would be somewhere in this area. Kagan paused as the red cone opened up from the end of the dotted line. Inside the cone, 3 lights began pulsing yellow. That means there are 3 likely targets: Daruno, Genkuth, and Garvus. My heart skipped a beat. Garvus? I turned back to the window as the last rays of sunlight were pulled back deep into the ground. The sounds of the city echoed in my head. There were hundreds of millions of people on this planet, all in terrible danger. That's why I'm here, Ty. You know this place better than anyone. If he shows up, I need you to help me find the son of a bitch and stop him before he murders half the quadrant. And how exactly do you expect me to track down this deranged, genocidal super soldier with a planet killer? You aren't going to like it. Try me. You won't be working alone. We have a partner for you. Someone who understands how this guy thinks. I felt the hair on the back of my neck stand up. No way. You've actually met before. It was as if I was being watched. No, stalked. Kagan, I don't like it any more than you do, but you're the only person he's willing to work with. I'd captured a human commander on some backwater world, deprived him of an honorable death. I thought he'd been executed decades ago, and with the rest of his people. Deep down, I knew the truth already. My heart started beating faster. I need to go. I need to get away. I need to find an exit. You can't make me do this. No, I can't, but you have to, for the Confederation, for Garvus. The fear inside me began to boil over. He's going to kill me. He's going to tear out my throat with his fucking teeth. Suddenly, an icy chill ran down my spine. Every neuron in my brain was screaming at my body to leave. Through the door or through the window, it didn't matter. I just needed to get out of there now. When I was frozen in place, Kagan opened the door. A familiar voice, more hoarse than I remembered, called out to me. Hello, Mr. Jitai. It has been quite some time. They say I'm going to help you track down a terrorist. One of my own. people. I turned to face my own personal demon. His eyes were just as icy blue as I remembered, his skin pock-marked and wrinkled, and his lips barred in a smile. Those teeth nearly gave me a heart attack. In my culture, we have a phrase for this. Human hunting human. Of course, those barbarians had a word for such a horrifying blood sport. I was torn between breaking down into tears and charging this hellish creature with my claws at the ready. We call it the most dangerous game, and it seems like you and I are next in line to play. End of story. The algorithm reckons you should be watching this video next, and I recommend that you should be always watching my video. So, click with energy! And yes, clicking that does help the channel. Thank you very much. I just want to quickly thank the T5 channel members and patrons. Alithia, Barky, Beauty Cure, Meridian 117, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholch, Albard and Gusta, Savage Patch Papa,